Welcome to another edition of the Nerds Delight podcast. We're your host today, JayRow.
And Crump Casso.
Welcome. We got a special guest in the building today. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name's Art Goodson. Good friends with JayRow. I pestered him so much about watching The Boys that he ended up having to do a podcast episode about it. So I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you for the segue. So as you all know, thanks to Art, we're going to talk about this season of The Boys. We're going to probably talk about a little bit of the past season, but then also we're going to try to talk about expectations for the next season that's about to come out. So, Art, since you're here, since you joined us for the first time, what did you think of the season?
So obviously, I watched the first two seasons and I liked them. I like the fact that it's like a parody of. I mean, it's really a parody of Marvel. I mean, it's not just comic books in general, but it's specifically a parody of Marvel.
Yeah.
But it's not so disrespectful. It's not being done by people who don't like the Marvel movies. It's just like there's some stuff about this way of making movies, making TV shows that's easy to parody. And I've always liked that, but I think this season they really took it to another level as far as making it seem like it could actually be in the real world today. And using Homelander as like a stand-in for these totalitarian leaders, and even using like Mother's Milk's his baby's mother's new boyfriend as a stand-in for all these people who are radicalized on the internet and all that. So I thought it was in typical Boys fashion. It went up to the line and stepped over it several times in terms of the adult content. But it was thoughtful. It wasn't just there for no reason. Like it's interesting because I think like The Boys, it imagines what would happen if just normal people got superpowers. Like Marvel and DC imagine what would happen if good people got these unusual powers. This is like if you just had the average person from the 40s come here today, he'd be a lot more like Soldier Boy than probably be like Steve Rogers,
He had a lot of toxic masculinity, yo. A lot of toxic masculinity. Like I was sitting there, and Jensen Ackles, who does Supernatural, he did a phenomenal job as Soldier Boy.
Yeah, it was really good. And Art brought up a good point too that I didn't really think about, but yeah, I do feel like if you come from that time period, it probably would be a whole more lot like Soldier Boy than Captain America. And I didn't really consider that until just now, but that's a really good point. Yeah.
But another thing too, to even piggyback off that, like these heroes, like they're not heroes. The only one that really showed like kind of more of a selfless attitude, well, two of them, was Starlight and Queen Maeve.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like straight villainous. They're not even heroes. Like, and it's so funny because when I first started watching this show, I was so fascinated with the Homelander character. So I was like, yo, this dude's just like Superman. But then you turn out he's completely not like Superman at all. Like this dude is a straight sociopath, like a psychopath. Like this dude is like all the above, because this dude has some deep rooted like abandonment issues, and like he just like the more unhinged he gets, more unhinged, especially when people cross him. And then like I don't know if you guys noticed, like in the comics, he was they went completely left from the comics in this show. So they took the source material, but they just went another direction altogether. Because Black Noir, he's actually was a clone of Homelander, and he's supposed to kill Homelander when Homelander goes out of control.
Wow.
He was like the security blanket. And then but he got unhinged, and he was the one who raped Billy Butcher's wife. Like instead of actual Homelander doing it, the actual Homelander raped his wife. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of the things like about the show too is a lot of times, and I feel like I've enjoyed a lot of the like Marvel shows, but you can tell you're getting someone who's making the show who is just kind of just putting the comic book on TV instead of like adapting it and changing it up. And like bending it to the stuff that they really are interested in. And this show, because I haven't read The Boys comic book, but from everything I've heard, it's been stuff like that. It's like they started with the general concept, and then they had ideas about what they wanted to do with it. They were different than what they would have thought of in the comic. It was over a decade ago now. So I like that they. I think because too, it's not a known property like Marvel or DC. People aren't as precious about it. Like
Yeah.
you have you think about in the Thor movies, they made Heimdall black, and people just lost their minds. So now, because it's the boys, it's like we can make Black Noir black. We can do anything. We can make A-Train black. It's not a big deal. Like just make a good show, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, I agree, and I also like the fact that they condensed the episodes for this for each season. It's not like a 20 episode, 13 episode season. It's like eight. So and they pack everything in these 8 episodes in a not that is crammed. They just give you everything in these 8 episodes.
Right.
There's not really a lot of fillers in it.
I agree. Yeah.
What is your go ahead?
No, I was gonna say I was kind of segueing a little bit. I was gonna say I love how, and I didn't really read the comics or nothing like that either, so I don't really know. But I just love how earlier, JayRow, you mentioned that a lot of the characters like almost like villainous almost, but I would almost argue that they're just regular people. It's almost like it's a job to them. They're not aiming to be a hero. It's just like I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like I'm just here to work.
Yeah.
Like especially like A-Train and stuff. It's like I'm just here for the job, the check, and it's like it. And
I agree. I think, and I like what they did with A-Train's character because he's like, he doesn't think he's a villain. He doesn't necessarily want to be a villain.
Yeah.
He's too addicted to his celebrity, and frankly, is a little bit of a coward.
Yeah.
He can't imagine like when I can't remember the other hero's name, Shockwave or whatever, when Starlight was trying to like conspire against Homelander, and he went and told Homelander what they were doing.
Oh yeah,
Like that's the type of stuff he would do, and it's good because it's like he's not as openly evil as Homelander. He can be controlled by Homelander because he's so afraid to lose the appearance of having power. And then the whole storyline with him and Blue Hawk, just like he could only think of himself in that situation. Everything he did, he messed up because he wasn't thinking about the people who were actually affected by it. So I would agree there. They have villains that don't necessarily think they're villains, and they're good at making you see the backstory for the villain, but not trying to get you to sympathize with him so much that it's like, oh, it's not so bad that Homelander's a murderer. Like, no, he's a murderer. He's a murderer who came from somewhere, but he's a murderer.
When you remember on the first season when they were on that airplane, and when I saw that scene, just shook me the whole time. Like it stayed in my mind throughout every season I've seen so far because it that showed you like how like evil Homelander is.
Yeah, and that was good too because it's a perfect reverse of like 8 million different Superman stories where Superman saves people on a plane,
right?
Because that's like a non-violent way to show he's a superhero. I mean, he was totally self-concerned and didn't care about the people on the plane. He's like, the planes, these people are screwed. I don't even care.
Right.
Knowing he could have taken some of them out on his back or whatever, he was just like, I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about me, and that's the exact opposite of Superman, and that's exactly why Homelander is a great character.
Yeah, he's so complex too, man, because like dude is like, you remember in the first season how he was with the head of Void and she treated him like a baby, like a straight up baby.
Yeah.
And then in the next season, he was trying to go on his own, but he got duped by a Nazi.
Yeah.
Then on this season, because how he got duped, he's like completely unhinged. So he's basically doing whatever he wants to do. No one is answering to him and stuff. He doesn't care. He has 0 F's to give.
Yeah.
Like, that actor is really he's really playing that role. Because I watched him on I don't know if y'all have seen the TV show Banshee. He used to be on Cinemax. Yeah, but now it was like a straightforward like action show. He was good in it, but I never knew he could do all the stuff he's doing now. He's just there's so many different layers of Homelander of just how messed up he is. I mean, like daddy issues are the #1 thing in sci-fi, but Homelander takes it to a whole nother level.
What do you guys think about what happened with his son on this season? Because remember how in the beginning of the season, Butcher was like he was there for him. Then like because Butcher was so focused on getting revenge on Homelander, he kind of pushed him away because he didn't want to hurt him. And then when at the end, when he basically got into the middle of it, you know, he chose Homelander instead of Butcher.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I could tell, that's the type of thing that, like, if you were reading a comic book series, that would have unfolded over a bunch of episodes, and if it was over a bunch of issues, and on other TV shows, it may have unfolded over several different episodes.
Yeah.
But on this, it was like one interaction, and you see why the kid doesn't like Butcher. And what's interesting is Butcher has his own fatherhood issues.
Yeah.
And they're very similar to Homelanders in the sense that they were just kind of abandoned and abused by the people who were their paternal figures.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure Butcher may have thought he had his reasons for acting like he did, but he just repeated that with a child with superpowers.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that he turned against him in the end. And so he's just created another little Homelander. So seeing Homelander parent next year is gonna be it's gonna be interesting.
It is. I'm looking forward to it. Like the way the show ended, like this last episode, I was like, here we go. Here we go.
I will say one thing that I ain't gonna say one thing. The thing that I was shocked about, because you know how Butcher's so motivated by revenge. Like, I thought for sure he was gonna let Huey fall down the path with him, but then he actually said no. He didn't say no, but he did it in a way to show that he cared about him by like not letting him take that vow.
Yeah.
So I was shocked that even like got to that point because I thought he was gonna go down that path with Butcher.
Yeah.
And Butcher wasn't gonna say a word because you know he knew about the side effects of the vow.
Right.
And he didn't say anything until he basically just said, Huey, you can't be on this mission with me and Soldier Boy. Basically.
Yeah. Because I mean the whole season too is there's so many like Homelander, Butcher, you know, parallels.
Yeah.
That it's like and you're like, how different are these guys? Even though like he takes that compound V or whatever.
Yeah.
He has Homelander powers. Like he's the exact same, he's the exact mirror of them.
Yeah.
Right.
But he at least has some limits, whereas Homelander has absolutely Homelander would have never told him about it and stuck 2 or 3 extra vowels in Huey's face. Huey was
But I do think that you know that episode you was talking about Butcher's father issues, I thought that was a really good slowdown for the season because everything was just going so fast. But then when you saw that episode, you kind of see like why he is the way he is and how like, you know, that was like a moment for him to basically be like, yo, Butcher can probably change a whole different leaf of himself. Like just because, you know, he went through that, he was going through those illusions and stuff. He was going through that hallucination stuff and he was in that deep like sleep. And I thought that it was I actually thought he did change a little bit. I still think he's who he is, but I don't think he's like the way he is in the comics. And the way he is in the comics, he is like, he does not give a care about his teammates like that.
Yeah.
Because at the end, you notice he helped, he protected his team, he protected his wife's son. He was doing like things like, oh wow, Butcher showing like some like he showed that in the past couple of seasons that he has the capacity to care about others other than himself, and he still did it this season. I just wonder if it's is it a flash or is it a permanent or is it something that, you know, maybe it's not going to happen. He's just going to be who he is.
I think it might have been a bit of a permanent change, just for him to kind of relive all those memories. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about MM's backstory this season?
That was interesting. It was really interesting. It was good to see that. And it's funny you mentioned that because I was actually about to mention not as hot subjects or whatever, but I was about to mention Black Nora also. I was really interested. Yeah. Both of those characters. It was really interesting to see their backstories and their origins, and kind of see like kind of what motivates them and the reason why they are the way they are. They really. You brought up a good point, like bringing up MM. Like they really did kind of dive into his background, which we didn't really get to see up until this season.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, and you saw parallel, like how Art was talking about Homelander and Butcher parallels. You saw Butcher and MM parallels because of the fact that how MM had an extreme dislike for Soldier Boy compared to just as much as Butcher had an extreme dislike for Homelander.
Yeah, and MM, maybe I just have forgotten that he had all these other issues outside of trying to kill crooked superheroes, his own personal issues and demons. But like the way that they showed him struggling with that and having to confront that and confront like the trauma of his past with Soldier Boy, I thought it was really interesting. A lot of times those other characters can kind of be like sidekicks who are just there for one-liners or whatever. But he had a real like character arc, and it was a good way to like introduce us to Soldier Boy to see how how the government had been using him, the type of stuff he had been doing. See, I thought it was really interesting, and the fact that he was able to actually sort of get himself under control near the end with Starlight's help to see them like this is you just gonna end up like Butcher, and you hate Butcher for who he is. So why would you just repeat that with Soldier Boy?
And then even though Butcher was he's so flawed, he was telling the truth to MM about the fact that he is the glue of that team. He was like, because he said he can be the asshole, but you're the one that keeps the guys. You keep them in line, and you care. So like, and I thought, and I was thinking like, because remember M said like, there's no team to do that with, and then you start to see, because I actually think it's him and Starlight.
I can see that
she's taking that role too.
Yeah, and I liked her arc in this season too, because she was a good example of like how people think sometimes you could go to like a crooked institution and be like, I'll change her on the inside. Like, no, it's not designed to change. It's gonna keep on doing exactly what it's doing. You gotta put the pressure on from the outside for it to change. So her like trying to work with Homelander, trying to subvert him as like the quote unquote co-leaders of the team. Yeah. And then her, eventually just saying, I have to do this on my own. Have to actually tell people the truth and trust them with the truth. I thought that was fascinating, and like getting to see that she was like a pageant kid growing up, and she was kind of forced into being a superhero. And she probably believed in the the mythology around Vought way more than anybody else did. And even after her, even after the Deep assaulted her, she still believed in it a little bit. But this last year with Homeland, it seems like it's she's fully out on it.
Oh yeah, she joined the boys. I think she's fully joined the boys now.
Yeah.
So, and you know what's so funny? I was laughing at this Victoria. Y'all know Victoria, right?
Victoria.
She's the one that blows up people's hands and stuff.
Head popper.
So what's funny about her is the fact that I thought it was gonna be more of a showdown with her, because I remember on the end of season 2 when she blew up somebody's head and you found out she's actually a soup. Like, I was sitting there like, yo, they gotta have like some kind of confrontation with her. But they never had a confrontation with her other than she confronted Starlight and Huey. And then I think it was Starlight that she was bleeding, right?
Yeah. Like she was trying to let her know, like,
I can do it.
I'm letting you walk around, but I can do it. Yeah. But I did think it was interesting too, like learning that she was a soup at the end of season 2, but then seeing too that she's basically Stan's daughter. So she thinks like him. She's not just blowing she's not just popping these heads just to pop them. She has a plan, and she knows she can't. I'm sure she knows she's going to go after Homelander at some point, but she knows she can't go head on with him. She's going to have some sort of, political, probably underhanded way to get at him. So it's going to be interesting to see that in season 4 too.
Yeah, I think she's the focus on season 4.
Yeah,
I think so. I'll say this too: Huey did not annoy me this season. Because he normally annoys me he normally annoys me. Like, he used to get on my nerves because he whines so much. But this season he wasn't annoying. I actually liked him a lot this season.
Yeah, I liked him a lot too in this season too. Yeah.
Because he was like, yo, the suits don't play fair. We got to go at it. He was with Butcher's program, and Butcher was smiling. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So he was like Butcher's sidekick the whole season up until that point in the last episode. But
yeah,
I just like his growth this season. This season he just wasn't annoying. He was like he was focused, and he grew up a little bit, in my opinion.
He had more to do this season because the first 2 seasons is like he's the audience surrogate, like he's introducing you to this world because he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And then when season 3, he needs to know some stuff. He needs to know how to do something. So the fact he was working with Victoria and he was taking a more active role, with the boys and everything. Yeah, he was a lot more interesting in the season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because he kept making up all the excuses in the world because Victoria knew where he was. Like, I'm letting you walk, like you said, I'm letting you walk around, do what you want to do. Because, like, come on, dude. Like, she's ready. I was like, yo, man, I want to know how they can get by that stuff. I don't know how they can get by that head popping stuff.
Right.
They gotta have like some kind of nullifier or something that they can get close to her to do it, because other than that, they ain't no way they can get near her.
Yeah, as of right now, it's like they ain't got much hope. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's insane because it's not even. It's like they're gonna get attacked from both sides. You gotta worry about her. You gotta worry about Homelander.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that the Void situation, I don't think they're not. I don't think they're a threat anymore for some reason. I just don't, because they don't have anybody.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
because the 7 is done basically because they don't have any. They don't have 7 heroes anymore.
Half the people are dead or have left. Yeah,
right.
So, I don't know. They're going to do some kind of rebranding, but yeah, I think that they suggested that, like, Stan was not done. Like, Stan is going to come back somehow, and that's really the only hope. And just the fact that Homelander's like trying to run a business now. He doesn't really know what to do. When he almost killed that woman in that meeting for like just asking the question, I was like, oh yeah, he needs a CEO or something. He can be the overseer, but no, he can't be dealing with the financial statements on a day to day.
You remember MM's wife's boyfriend?
Yeah.
He's gonna have a major part to play in the next season too.
You think so?
Yeah, because remember, he was like the person, like, you remember how MM and his wife didn't want their girl looking at Homelander stuff.
Right.
He kept putting it on. He took her to a rally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all noticed at the very end of the season, he was at that rally where Homelander introduced his son.
Yeah.
And he incited the chaos. He incited the riot.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that, I mean, that's like another example of what I think the show does well compared to other shows. It's like they could have just been a throwaway character, but instead you get to see how like a person gets radicalized through idolizing somebody who's not what they present themselves to be, because he, when you first meet him, like, oh, I can't believe Mother's Milk's wife left him for this guy, but he seems nice, it's not the worst thing in the world. He's a teacher, but over the season you see these like fascist sympathies and stuff he has. You're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. So
it's like subtle. It's subtle.
Yeah. And most of the show is not subtle. It's people popping heads and hero orgasm, all this other stuff.
Oh,
but
that one
episode,
thing was that one aspect of it was like very well like brought along slowly over the 8 episodes. Like how crazy, how the crazy nature of Todd really got brought out. Yeah. And you just said it. That episode, Hero Gasm, dude, like, I can't say anything else after that. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it was like
it was.
It's insane.
I heard that they like Amazon, because I mean Amazon is not like on cable TV. Like you on you buy it, you decide to watch it. Like,
right.
There's no FCC that tells them what they can't do, but supposedly they like didn't have a standards practice, which is like the law firm that tells you when you go, like, basically going too far, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And they had to create one for this season of The Boys because they did so much crazy stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So Yeah, I mean, and the funny the hero gets too is it's not just like the shocking stuff. Like stuff happens in that episode. Like that. That's the Soldier Boy Homelander fight.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's A
And
Train
Butcher and Huey.
apologizing to
Yeah.
Huey. Yeah, and Butcher and Huey. So it's like stuff is actually which is what's so crazy about this show. You know, you recommend it to somebody in the first episode of the season. A guy explodes inside of a guy's Johnson, and it's like, just stick with it. It's a real show, trust me. But it really is like.
Do y'all remember? Do you remember the second season when the oh my god? So when the dude wrapped around his Johnson around MM,
Yeah,
in the sight thing, and he was like you know how he's like a germaphobe, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, nah, man, I can't. Man. And I think it happened in the same order that this season happened, because I think Hero Gasm was episode 6, and I think that episode that happened in season 2 was episode 6 too. Oh man, I guess we know episode 6 of every season is gonna be like something that you gotta push the envelope for. Oh my goodness, that when I saw that episode, man, that Hero Gasm, woo. Oh man, I can't.
All the way out of line.
I can't. It was way out of line.
All the way out of line.
All the way. Is there anything else we want to add before we close it out?
I do want to add one more thing. I like how in this season, well, throughout all the seasons, really, how we see Kimiko becoming more and more like human. Like we see more and more of her like as a human and not so much as a a weapon.
Yeah.
I was really nervous that she's gonna take an L this season, because I was like, man, they drawing us in too much. Like we love her too much now. They gonna kill her off just so they can pull at our heartstrings. It's like right we start to love her. I thought it's gonna like kill her off, but I'm glad she made it. So I'm liking her more and more, every episode. So I really like that they're doing it with her.
Yeah,
I like that connection she has with Frenchie.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So, what y'all think about that musical? Like they did a musical.
I did not like that, actually. I'm glad they explained it to where it was like, it made that they tied it into where it made sense, but it wasn't just completely random. But it seemed completely random at the time until they kind of explained it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was super random.
Yeah, I was impressed by it. Like I'm always impressed when like people who can act, can sing and dance and all that stuff.
Same.
Yeah, I was like, where's this coming from? But then this is an Amazon TV show. They got the money for it. So they get the money, but like, I would just do a dance number or whatever. So yeah, it was. I like seeing Kimiko, as more human. I like her and Frenchie's relationship.
She had no choice though, because remember, her powers got nullified.
Well, yeah. That was when I thought she was done.
Yeah.
I thought they were, setting us up for her to get killed at some point. But I'm glad she survived, and I did. Yeah. Like I said, I like their relationship. I'm honestly interested to see what they do with this like spinoff TV show they're doing, because
Oh yeah, it's like the college. It's like college, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because I think because when A Train is talking to Blue Hawk before he kills him, he mentions like the training academy or whatever he went to, and I think it's gonna be like set around that, like I said, the college years of superheroes, like how they make the Vought superheroes. Yeah, because I think they still have at least like a couple more seasons they could do with this like cast, but at some point you do have to like either Homelander has to die or Butcher. Like there has to be some like major upheaval to keep on making seasons of it. But like the general idea of the show, it would be interesting to see that in so many different like areas, and like college would be an interesting area too. So I know that they said that Amazon like doesn't have. Amazon's not like Disney would have all these franchises, Star Wars and Marvel, and franchises what these like streamers want. So they want to have a franchise like The Boys, which is hilarious because like you can watch, like you can't let your 8-year-old watch The Boys, but they're trying to.
They got a cartoon. They got a cartoon. Your kid can't watch that show.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with the college spinoff, and supposedly they have more planned in the future. But like, what else they would do with this whole idea of like, what if average people just had powers, and if many of them were actually not all that great.
Right.
Yeah, Amazon is doing good things though, man, because they got Invincible too. Now, Invincible is a very good show.
Yeah, Invincible is dope.
Yeah, Invincible was so good. I went out and got the whatever it's called, the trade to like to read the whole run of comics, and it's gonna be
Oh,
interesting to see what they do with
Oh,
that.
yeah,
wow.
me too. I got
With
the
that
first
show.
issue, that first real big thick one. Like,
Yeah,
I got that one too. I'm reading it too.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. It's really good. I mean, but like you had said, they're gonna have to like do a little compressing.
Mhm.
Some of the storylines are really good. Some of them probably need
Yeah.
to be adapted a little bit. But you know that show is gonna be real good. It's gonna be real good too because the basic storyline of it is incredible. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do in the future with the with other shows and with just like what are they gonna do with Butcher since he's willing to kill himself to kill Homelander. And that's what he's
Yeah.
basically had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically is on borrowed time now because of
Yeah.
like the doctor gave him that terminal notice. Like you
Yeah.
got like X amount of time left.
Yeah.
I think it's a year.
Yeah. Something like that.
So, which I think is going to be, I think something's going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. But
Yeah.
we'll see. My last question before we close out: how many more seasons do you think this is going to last?
Wow. Wow. It's a good question. I would say 2 tops. I almost want to say the next one might be the last one. Honestly.
I don't think so. Because think about it, man. They got too much. Like they can't close it all out in 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Because you got to fight Victoria. I mean, not fight. You got to take care of her. You got Voight to worry about, and you got Homelander, and then you got this terminal thing with Butcher. All that can't be tied together. They were teasing Soldier Boy for a couple of seasons now, and they just introduced Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I think ideally it would be like 2 to 3. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon got 4 or 5 out of them because they need hit shows and they just have money to throw at it. So I mean, because like I said, you could move on from this cast and move in another cast if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think like with this cast, I'd probably say like 2. I think the Homelander years are probably going to come to an end relatively soon because I mean they've done a lot with the character. There's still a little bit more to do, but at the same time, like Anthony Starr, the guy who plays Homelander, his performances is so good. Like he's gonna be making movies at some point. I mean, he's just been unreal. So I think they're gonna start having trouble hanging on to people. I mean, that's usually what happens with really good TV shows. So I would probably say 2 with this cast, and who knows, further than that.
I'm gonna say 2 for you, Art, but I'm gonna say it for a different reason. The guy who created this show, he's the guy that created Supernatural. He said that Supernatural's original run was supposed to end in 5 seasons.
What?
Yeah.
Wasn't that show like 17 seasons or something crazy?
Supernatural lasted 15 seasons, but he jumped off of it after the 5th season because he was the executive producer and stuff like that. But he let other people, show running and stuff like that. But he wanted that show to end in 5. This show right here, he has complete control over it. So I think it's going to be a 5 season show. So we got 2 more to go. That's my guess. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Art, we want to thank you. Thank you truly for being on this episode.
Yeah, man.
And you're definitely welcome back anytime. And
I appreciate it, man.
Hopefully we can get you back either before the new season of Invincible or even a random episode, whatever you have an interest in. We definitely would like to have you back. And, the door is always open.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. I'll be texting you with some ideas soon with if any of these Disney shows are actually worth it in the next couple months.
Well, hey, we just reviewed She-Hulk. I mean, we did a reaction to She-Hulk, so we're kind of looking forward to that one because we saw Daredevil. I saw Daredevil on this newest trailer, so I'm definitely want to see Daredevil. So, and the Black Panther. So we got to talk offline for that one. But thank you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Click like and subscribe to the channel, and for also to keep up with future content. Talk to you soon. Peace.